What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Geeky Investor, where stocks talk and we translate. Today, we're going to be talking about 3 stocks that I believe are going to be very nice to keep an eye in for the coming decade and potentially invest in, and going to be rewarding for 2026 and beyond. But before I do that, I'm going to tell you a few advices that are really essential to keep in mind as an investor, and these advices I've learned from legendary investors including Warren Buffett. So make sure you stick till the end of the video because it's really going to be helpful, and smash this like button. It helps the channel grow larger. So number 1, I prefer that you hold a low number of stocks because that's going to be easier for you to follow. So the idea is, if you have, let's say, 20 companies investing in, you're not going to be able to kind of follow up on each investment and watch and understand the earnings call, each of them, their products, their services, their revenue, how it comes, what's their competitive advantage, what's the thing that makes them special as compared to their competitors, and if their competitors are actually gonna crash them or not. So having a few companies to keep in mind to follow is easier for you, as we just said. So a second thing is, you have to stick to what you actually know. So the companies that you understand deeply are the ones that you have to keep in your pocket. So for example, if everybody here is talking about Nvidia and the data centers and chips and whatnot, if you have no clue what that does and how it kind of relates to what the companies are actually needing as of right now, so you should not be investing in these type of companies just because people are saying you have to invest. Maybe you can invest now and make some money, but then over the next few years, when you're still investing in the company, a lot of news and a lot of things and posts are going to be seen on social media that are going to say, let's sell the stock, well, blah 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 is happening. But if you're not able to understand deeply and fundamentally what the company does and how the competitors are able to win them or not, or if it's going to be able to kind of maintain their position and grow larger or not, so that you're going to be selling the company without really understanding the risks and benefits of the investments there, because you're just following others what they are doing. And a third thing is that you have to remember, if the same principle applies here, if you invest in many companies, let's say 20-30 companies you're investing them, you're kind of spreading yourself too thin. It's as if some people say they prefer not to put all of their I'm sorry to say that, all of their eggs in one basket. But the idea is, if you diversify a lot, it is what we call diversification. You're making it worse for yourself to follow. You're making it worse for you to keep an eye on, because it's going to require a lot of time, a lot of attention, effort, and a lot of understanding. So that's important to keep in the back of your mind. You should not be able to follow like 30-40 stocks on a regular basis. You're gonna have to have a few essential stocks that you keep your eyes on. So ETFs and indexes are an option for those who want to invest in many companies and don't want to put what they call risks into just a few companies. So number 1 stock I'm going to be talking about is Intuitive Surgical, ticker symbol ISRG. A lot of you guys, I think, they don't know this company, but me as a physician, as a doctor, I'm going to tell you that this company is really awesome. It is really good for surgeons because it makes what we call Da Vinci systems. These Da Vinci systems are the surgical robots that help make the procedures and the surgery more successful, less bleeding, less complications, less infections, and less times during the operation. So this makes the outcomes of the patients and outcomes for the hospitals definitely better, and that's why these hospitals and these customers buy from Intuitive Surgical Da Vinci. And as we can see on their website here, they believe in minimally invasive care that is life-enhancing care. So they go on to say that Intuitive advances minimally invasive care by helping physicians and their teams optimize care delivery to support the best outcomes possible. I'm not going to go into a lot of details because maybe we can make a specific episode on that, but I'm going to tell you just a few things. They have made more than 16 million procedures as of 2024, and that's a very large number. As a physician, I'm telling you that 16 million procedures, that's really awesome. And they operate in 72 countries, almost all of the countries worldwide, except a few countries, maybe in Africa and some parts of the Middle East. Maybe they're going to tap for that into the future. Maybe their competitors will. We're going to talk about that a bit, maybe in the future or in future videos. If you guys like that, let me know in the comments down below. A third thing is that they have more than 9,900 Da Vinci systems worldwide. And that makes them, kind of penetrating most of the countries, penetrating most of the hospitals, and they have a different specialties within surgery. Because as you know, guys, surgery is not just one specialty. You have different surgeons, urologist, gynecologist, and you have a general surgeon and many others. I'm not going to go into a lot of details on that. As you can see, this is the Da Vinci system. This is the surgical robot that the surgeon kind of, controls and does the operation on the patient. And as you can see, it is data driven. So that's really different from the traditional surgeries, and it is actually even superior to the minimally invasive surgery using less advanced stuff, what they call kind of, one port and whatnot. But, using the robots is definitely superior, as has been proven by research. I'm going to tell you that surgeons and physicians overall, they are very stubborn, and I'm going to be frank here. It is very hard to convince them. You're going to have to show them data, research, and a lot of convincing is also going to have to be done to the hospitals and the financial management team, so that they kind of buy into the different competitors if they're going to change from one robot to the other. So that's why they have this kind of competitive advantage, what I call high barriers to entry. Because if you have a surgeon that have already learned how to operate using this Da Vinci robot, it's going to be very hard for the surgeon to learn how to operate using a different robot, because they have put all of these hours, all of that effort into learning how to kind of, perfect the way to do the surgery. Learning another how to operate using another robot is going to be very hard. The same goes for the kind of hospital, is that you're going to have to deal with a different company that's going to be kind of bothersome for them. And they have a very highly lucrative and innovative business with continuous expansion of their product lines, including the ION platform and the new Da Vinci system. It is the Da Vinci 5 system. As you can see here, this is the Da Vinci 5. I'm not going to go into a lot of details for that, but that's something nice to keep in mind. Sorry for that. So they are actually entering a new phase of growth driven by the launch of the ION. What they do is for the lung biopsies. So if people have lung cancer, any malignancies, any polyps, and if you have sarcoidosis, a lot of these things, you're going to be able to access them using the ION platform to access and biopsy the lymph nodes, the lung tissue, and whatnot. All right, so a second company that I'm going to be talking about here is Adobe, and everybody here knows what they do. I'm just going to be zooming in. As you can see, if you just see these icons, you're going to be directly able to know what the company is. They have Photoshop, they have Premiere, and they have their Creative Cloud, which is really nice to use. And the revenue has been the revenue growth has been averaging around 10% annually over the past couple of years. As you can see right here, so the revenue, 15 billion, 17, 19, 21, 23 billion dollars as of 2025. As you can see, consistently 20%, 10, 10, 10, 10%. So it's a consistent growth for the company, which is really nice to see as an investor. But before I proceed forward, I forgot to show you actually the share price of Intuitive Surgical, who make the Da Vinci systems. As you can see, over the past 5 years, if you've invested in 2022, you have made more than 200% profits. A lot of people say you have to invest in these hyped stocks, in these stocks that everybody knows and talks about. But here, Intuitive Surgical, a lot of people don't really know about it. If you invest in these type of companies, you're not going to make money. That's what these people say. But you have to invest in your circle of competence, because as you can see, if you understand the company deeply, back in 2022, everybody was saying, Da Vinci is kind of, going bankrupt and whatnot. But then what actually happened is that they have increased more than 200%. Their margins have improved, their revenue has increased, and they have made a new Da Vinci system, the Da Vinci 5. So it's really important to keep within your circle of competence, as we just talked about. A second thing for Adobe, back to Adobe. So they have aggressive share repurchase strategy, signaling management's confidence that the stock is undervalued. And they have a plan to repurchase $25 billion worth of the shares between 2024 and 2028. So that's within the forthcoming years. And as you can see here, so if we open Adobe's share price, as you can see, their market cap is almost $150 billion. So I'm going to open the calculator here, $150 billion, right? So you have a 15 billion divided by divided by 150. It's not 115 billion. Actually, it is 25 billion. So yeah, I'm gonna go for that again. So 25 billion divided by 150 billion. As you can see, it is almost 17% share repurchase, and that's a very nice number to see right here. Sorry, I'm just gonna be checking. All right, it's working. So you have a 17% share repurchase of the company. So that's like an almost 17% increase guaranteed for the stock price over the next 4 years into 2028. And it's almost just 2 to 3 years remaining for that. So 2 to 3 years, you're going to have a guaranteed 17% increase in the share price because you have less shares outstanding. And if you have an increasing net income, increasing EPS, so increasing EPS, decreasing shares outstanding, you're going to have a skyrocket share price. And that's really nice to see as an investor because as you can see, as you can see here, the share price has not been really doing very well over the past couple of years, especially since 2021. The company has lost almost 50% from its peak in 2021. But as you can see here, their margins, their numbers are really nice. And for example, here, their gross profit was $21 billion from a $23 billion in revenue. So that's a very high profit margin, or gross profit margins to be more specific. A third stock that I'm going to be talking about here is AMD. And we all know what AMD does. They have 3 main segments: the gaming segment, data center, and embedded segment. And we know the data center segment is on fire. So the gaming and data center segments are performing strongly recently. The gaming segment has experienced a temporary slowdown following the crypto crash and post-COVID normalization that was in 2022, almost 2023, but this headwind has largely passed. And as we've seen in Q1, Q2, and Q3 of 2025 for AMD, the gaming segment has been back on doing good performance. And the data center, of course, it has faced some small setback due to US-China trade restrictions coming from Trump and the administration. But what they have done is the management's profit projections have excluded China and are still showing very good, strong growth expected. So that's nice to hear from the management. And AMD operates in a booming semiconductor industry that cannot realistically be dominated by only one or 2 players. So guys, let's be honest here. You know, if you're a company, you are having your data centers and you need these chips for the data centers, right? If you only have NVIDIA, for example, and you want to purchase from them, if NVIDIA is the only player and you're the NVIDIA company, you're the CEO, you're Jensen Huang. So what happens is, you know, they're going to say, all right, because it's only us, I'm going to increase the price from 1,000 to 2,000 to 10,000. And who's going to say no? There is no other competitor. And Microsoft, Google, and these customers are going to have to buy from NVIDIA because basically there's no other customer. And that's why in this type of market, you're going to have a few players, maybe not many players, but you're going to have at least 2 to 3 players in this particular segment because it kind of helps make the market more fair to the customers. And outstanding leadership under Lisa Su, the visionary CEO who has transformed AMD from near bankruptcy, if you guys remember, in 2014 and 15, and into an industry leader right now. We've all heard what AMD have done. And as you can see, I'm going to be showing you their share price. So if you go to max, in 2012, the share price was just $30. And look what happened now. It's 355. Actually, that's sorry for that. That's actually for Adobe. I was kind of wondering why this is. So for AMD, as you can see here, over the past couple of years, so it went from $3 to $213 within just 10 years. That's more than 1,300x over the past 10 years. Actually, that's more than 5,000x. So that's very good to see under this management and leadership of Lisa Su. So they also have a very strong balance sheet, sustained growth, and improving profitability, which underpins the company's long-term advancements and their expected share increases. And as you can see, their revenue from 9 billion, 16, 23, 25, and 32 billion as of 2025, increasing consistently over the past couple of years. They have a very high research and development costs, because that shows us that it's actually kind of, they are heading into the right direction, they are investing, and they are making profits from what they are investing. As you can see, the gross profit is almost 50% of that. So if you like to see a specific video about one of these stocks, completely dedicated for one of these 3 stocks, please let me know in the comment section, because I'd be loving to do such type of content, and I'd see you in the next video.